Tell him about Rosa.
Oh. That was when I was young out there hugging and kissing, swapping chewing gum, fogging up the windows and things. And I got out of my wife when she was 15 years old. And her mama was a Sunday school teacher. And she was tired on her, but I didn't know all that at the time when I got after her. And I had to have her home at 9:30. And on Sunday night and Wednesday night we had to go to church first. So we didn't have no hugging and kissing time when that was over. We had to take her back home. And Saturday night, the only time we had to do anything, but still had to be back home at 9:30. So I took her home at 9:30, and then I'd go back around there to the dairy bar. A bunch of the young fellas and all was around there hanging around and all. Go back over there, and me and Pete went with me that night. And we sitting up there on the stool eating a hamburger and a Coca-Cola. And old Cliff King walks in, sat outside of us. And my wife's blonde, and I just like blonde. That's my favorite. So he started telling us about these two gals lived out here in the country, and one of them was a blonde, and it was beautiful. And he wanted to know didn't we want to go out there. It was 10 o'clock then. You know, didn't we want to go out there and see her? I said, no, it's too late to go out there. He said, no, it ain't. Said, her mama goes to, her daddy goes to work at the cotton mill at 11 o'clock on third shift, and her mama is spending the weekend with her sister in Richmond, Virginia. And he said by 10:30 she's gonna be leaving the house to get to work on time. Said we go out there if you go. I still didn't want to go, but they kept on how beautiful she was and talked me into it. So I said, yeah, I'll go. So went out there and got in Cliff's car, left my car, Pete left his at the dairy bar, got Cliff's car, and we went out there. Got up to the house was dark. And I said, they done gone to bed, Cliff. I said, we don't need to bother them. He said that they ain't got nothing to do with it. He said, I'll wake them up. So we go up on the front porch, all three of us, and knock on the door. And he hollered, hey, Cliff. Said, Rosa, there's Cliff out here. Said, let us in. Nobody didn't say nothing. He knocked a little louder, and he hollered a little louder. Rosa, it's Cliff. Let us in. By that time, somebody come around the corner of the house there, and he said, you SOBs, he called her right out, I ain't gonna mess with my daughter tonight. Bam! He shot. I see a streak of fire come out the end of that gun about that far. We all turned around and run off the porch. And I hadn't made 15, 20 foot out there, I reckon, just guessing at it. I had on a pair of loafers with a dime in each slot, you know. You remember how that was?
Oh, yeah.
The one on the right foot come off. I was running with one shoe on to run off back down that path to the highway. And Pete, he was running along there behind me. And we got to the road, and that fellow was coming behind us with his flashlight, cussing us right on. And he shot again when we got to the road there, and Pete fell. He said, oh, it hit me. I turned around going to help him get up, and here come that guy with that flashlight. And I told him, I said, I see you, Toad. So I took off down the highway, running just as hard as I could. And he was maybe 4 near the street out there behind me. And the next thing I know, he would be closer to you, right behind me. And I picked up a little more speed. I got down there to the crossroad, took a left, went toward Dorchester, and got far enough ahead of one of them there, and I hit the woods. Went out there and sat outside a tree hassling. Sat out there about 25, 30 minutes, I ready, scared to come out. And after a while, Cliff, he come down the road on his car, driving right slow, and every once in a while he'd get out and holler, trying to get me to come out. I didn't know if it was him or not, but what happened, after I finally realized it was him, I come out and he picked me up, and he said, where's Pete at? I said, I don't know. The last time I saw him, he fell in the ditch, man, he shot him. He said, well, you want to go back and check on him? I said, no. I said, take me back to the dairy bar and get my car and go home. So that's what I done. I got up the next morning, I was so I couldn't hardly get up, and working at the railroad. Went to work at the railroad the next day, and about 10 o'clock that morning, I was working upstairs. They had an elevator, you know, you haul stuff up and down on. The elevator come up, and it was Cliff. He had my shoe. He had went back and got my shoe. And what had happened, everybody knew into it but me. He had on a blanket behind the house with a shotgun, and five more guys was on the highway laying in the ditch. When I went by, one quit running and laughed at me, and the other would take off out of me. I had outrun 5 guys. 5 guys I had outrun that night. Yeah, they set me up.
All because he wanted to go see a plot in.
See that? See?
See, now somebody else is telling that story too, though. There's 5 other guys.
Yeah. Y'all pick a song. Take off on something that you fall